Hey, everybody. Hey, thanks for stopping by the SONLIT CoffeeCast here on April 1st, 2021. Let me repeat that date, April 1st, 2021. I'm Trent Pogue, and I'm one of the co-founders of SONLIT Missions. What you're going to listen to now is what we call a CoffeeCast. Today it's just me solo. We're not interviewing anybody or having a conversation. I'm just kind of sort of having a conversation with you guys. And it's a little unusual. Again, the date, April 1st, 2021. Because today we're going to pay homage to a friend that we've all known and the obituary of that friend, Common Sense. You know, my parents told me about Common Sense early in my life. They told me I would do well to call on him when making some decisions. And it seems like he's always shown up in my gut or in my heart and kind of helped lead the way as life continues to pass by. Their advice has certainly kept me grounded and out of sticky situations. It's allowed my spiritual journey to be challenged along the way, but not stuck during the tough seasons. Of course, I had to call on Mr. Common Sense and not forget that he was there to help me. And I guess that's just the humility and not going it alone and realizing that Mr. Common Sense would help guide and mentor me through some tough situations and tough decisions in my life. Now today, April 1, 2021 again, I'm going to read his obituary. And while I do that, I'd like to reflect on the years of truth and trust he has provided me. And I'm very grateful for that. So please join me as I read his obituary in a moment of silence and reverence and remembrance of our friend Common Sense, who has served us all so well for so many generations. The following obituary's author is unknown, and there have been some current adaptations that have been made. Today we mourn the passing of a beloved old friend, Common Sense, who has been with us for many years. No one knows for sure how old he was, since his birth records were long ago lost in bureaucratic red tape. He will be remembered as having cultivated such valuable lessons as knowing when to come out of the rain, why the early bird gets the worm, why life is not always fair, and maybe, just maybe, it was my fault and not someone else's. Common Sense lived by simple, sound financial policies. You don't spend more than you earn. And by reliable parenting strategies. Adults, not the children, are in charge. His health began to deteriorate rapidly when well-intentioned but overbearing regulations were set in place, such as the reports of a 6-year-old boy being charged with sexual harassment for kissing a classmate, and a teacher being fired for reprimanding, an unruly student, continued to worsen his condition. Common Sense lost ground when parents attacked teachers for doing the job they themselves failed to do in disciplining their unruly children. Or perhaps when schools were required to get parental consent to administer aspirin or sun lotion, but they couldn't inform a parent when a student became pregnant and wanted to have an abortion. Most recently, the decline continued for Common Sense as Dr. Seuss books are being pulled from elementary schools, questioning the moral character of the author. Common Sense will be lost, and he lost the will to live as the 10 Commandments became contraband, as churches became businesses, and as criminals receive better treatment than their victims. Common sense really took a beating when you could not defend yourself from a burglar in your own home, and the burglar could then sue you for assault if you did. Common sense finally gave up the will to live when, for the first time in history, people could help save humanity by showing respect for each other just by wearing a mask when in public. Yet, many refused to do so. Common sense was preceded in death by his parents, truth and trust. His wife, discretion. His daughter, responsibility. And his son, reason. He is survived by 3 stepbrothers. I know my rights, someone else is to blame, and I'm a victim. Unfortunately, not many attended this funeral of common sense because so few realized he was gone. If you still remember him and you can feel your heart tug a bit at you, please feel free to pass this on. If not, join the majority and do nothing. After all, this is April Fool's Day, 2021. Well, I sure hope you enjoyed that. You know, it's from the heart. It's a bit in jest, obviously. And that's what SONLIT's all about, not the jest part, but being from the heart. Kind of looking at things a little bit differently from time to time and drawing your attention to it, letting you help it internalize things a bit and figuring out, for yourself, how you're going to respond to certain tugs of the heart and certain information that you receive, always on a spiritual vein in some ways. So what we just did was a SONLIT Missions CoffeeCast. That's a podcast, and it can be found at anchor.fm, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. In fact, the chances are it's on your podcast app, whatever your preference is. So just look for it at SONLIT Missions CoffeeCast. We also have something called a Heart Tug. This is also a blog, and so it's available in written form on our website, sonlit.org. That's SONLIT.org. This particular blog is called The Common Sense Obituary. Once you're there at the website, you can see all our social networks. And we would sure love it if you'd follow along on any or all of the social media outlets that you use. You'll find those at the bottom of every single page on our website. Just click on them, follow along. We thank you in advance for following or subscribing on any of those. And while you're there, feel free to dig in and find out what SONLIT's all about. We hope it touches your heart. We hope our purpose, our mission, our values, our vision, for being a media missionary in discipleship and renewing hearts in Christ will resonate with you. So until we meet again, may your day be blessed and may your day be sunlit. Thanks for listening.